Hey guys, this is Carrie Rhinehart from 5 Minute Math. Today I'm going to be looking at exponent rules. If you're following along in the book, it's from Algebra 1, Unit 5, Lesson 1. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the rules for exponents. I'm not going to go through each one individually. I'm just going to do some examples. But you can find all of these rules again in Chapter 5, Lesson 1. It lists all the rules for your exponents. But I'm just going to go ahead and start with an example. Let's say that we have 3x to the 5th times 2x to the 4th. All right, just a reminder of the parts here. The 3 is a coefficient. Okay, it's the number in front of the variable. X is the variable. It's also the base here. Okay, it's the base because the x is raised to the power of 5. So 5 is either, you could call it the power or you can call it the exponents. It's the same thing. But remember, the base is what's being raised to the power. Keep in mind that only x is being raised to the 5th, not 3x. Now, if we had 3x to the 5th like this, then 3x, that whole thing, would be your base. Okay? But in this case, just the x is your base. And then over here, 2 is your coefficient, x is your base, and 4 is your exponent or your power. When you multiply this type, you're going to multiply your coefficients. So we're going to multiply 3 times 2, which is going to give us 6. Okay. And then your bases should be the same, or you're just going to have to write them next to each other. If one was x, one was y, you would just write x to the 5th, y to the 4th. You couldn't combine them. But they're the same, so when you multiply, you rewrite that base. But with the exponents, you're going to add them. So we're going to do 5 plus 4, which gives us 9. So we get 6x to the 9th here. All right, let's look at another one. Let's say that we have 4m cubed, all raised to the 0, times 7m to the 4th n, and that whole thing is squared or raised to the 2nd power. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is deal with this, and then we'll deal with this, and then we'll combine them. But that 4m cubed is all raised to the 0 power, the power of 0. Now this is one of those rules you have to remember. Anything raised to the power of 0 is equal to 1. So this whole thing right here, since it's raised to a 0, will equal 1. Okay, so we're going to get 1 times. All right, so then for the next one, okay, the base is 7m to the 4th n for the power of 2. Now, m is just the base for the power of 4, and n has an understood power of 1. But within the parentheses, the 7, the m to the 4th, and the n, we can't do any more combining. So we're going to go ahead and deal with this power here. Now, when anything is in parentheses raised to a power, everything needs to be raised to that. So that 7 needs to be squared. Okay. That m to the 4th needs to be squared. I'm going to write it like this, m to the 4th squared. And that n to the 1st also needs to be squared. Now, this right here, when you have a power to a power, this is different than m to the 4th times m squared. Okay, if you notice here, both the square and the 4 have its own base of m. But here it's m to the 4th, all of that is squared. In that case, you multiply these exponents. So I've got the 1 here times 7 squared. I'm going to go ahead and change to 49. M to the 4 squared, I need to multiply the 4 and the 2 to get m to the 8th. And then same thing here, 1 times 2 is 2, so I get n squared. And then 1 times 49, m to the 8th, n squared is just 49 m to the 8th n squared. All right, I'm going to do one more. Excuse me. All right. Let's say that we have 2x cubed over 4xy squared, all raised to the 3rd power. What we should do first is simplify within the parentheses before we deal with this cube out here, or the power of 3. So I do notice that I've got coefficients of 2 and 4, which can be reduced. 2 over 4 reduces to 1 over 2. I've also got x cubed over x. Okay. Now this is an understood x to the first down here. And when you are dividing and you've got the same basis, you subtract exponents. So I would do 3 minus 1 and get x squared. And that's going to go on the side with the larger exponent. So since 3 is larger than 1, we would be on the top of this fraction. And then y squared is down there. There's nothing to combine it with. Okay. Now I need to cube everything in this fraction. So the 1 needs to be cubed. The x squared needs to be cubed. That 2 needs to be cubed. And the y squared also needs to be cubed. Okay. Well, 1 cubed just means 1 times 1 times 1, so that's just 1. Times, remember in this instance, we're going to multiply. So we're going to get x to the 6th. Over, well, 2 cubed means 2 times 2 times 2, and that's 8. And then again, we're going to multiply here, so we get y to the 6th. So our final answer is 1x to the 6th, which is just x to the 6th, over 8y to the 6th.